Do you want to know what owning 216 corgi dogs look like? Do you want to know? Do you want to know? Do you want to know what it looks like? Looks like that. What up, my friends? It's me, Mr. Squidwhiskers, and today I'm going to be putting myself through the torture of trying to shiny hunt the Pokemon Yamper, the corgi, the cute little doofus. Long story short, when I asked on my last Pokemon Sword video whether you guys thought I should play the DLC, someone gave me a very straightforward answer saying, when/if. That doesn't tell me whether you want it or not. Basically, they were saying whether when/if you play the DLC, you should try shiny hunting first. And I was like, you know what? That's fun. That's a great suggestion. I'm gonna do it. I didn't realize what that really entailed. By the way, I am still looking for answers on whether you guys would like to see me playing the DLC. It's probably coming out if this video is on schedule tomorrow. If it's not on schedule, today. So please do give me your answers, because technically, should I buy it? Should I put another $30 into Pokemon? Probably not. But am I totally going to do it if I get enough people saying they want me to do it? Of course. I'll break the bank for you guys anytime. However, the ordeal at hand, shiny hunting. I, immediately after reading that comment, I researched how best to shiny hunt in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And the long and short answer is, there is no easy way for a person who has no time. There's 3-ish main ways to shiny hunt. There's also some that revolve around raid battles, but like, I'm not. Those were way too complicated. Basically, the first one is full odds shiny hunting, where if the name wasn't obvious enough, you're going for the full odds of shiny hunting. You're running around in the grass, and you're just hoping to get a shiny. And the odds of that are variable. With a shiny charm, you get about like 1 in 1,000, but maybe a little bit more than that. Without a shiny charm, it's like 1 in 5,000. And here's the thing, it'd be great to have a shiny charm. But you know what you have to do to make the shiny charm? You have to fill up, well, for real quick, yep, 216. I'll get back to why that number is important later. You have to fill up this entire Pokedex. 400 Pokemon. And I didn't have time before, but I definitely don't have time for that. So I couldn't do full on shiny hunting. Then there's egg shiny hunting, which is basically where you go to one of the nurseries, I swear there's like 2, and you put your Pokemon in, and you continually hatch eggs over and over again until you get a shiny. Still, basically the same odds. Slightly faster, yes, slightly faster, I think. But still, just a pain, and I didn't want to do that. But then there's one last method. And this one is weird. Basically, Pokemon implemented a feature into the game where if you catch more and more of a certain type of Pokemon, you have a likelier and likelier chance to get a shiny of that Pokemon. That doesn't mean that's easy. The long and short of it is, as you battle more and more of a Pokemon, 100, 200, 300, 400, your chances go up. It's really not that much, but once you reach 500 Pokemon battled, I think the chances with a shiny charm go up to 500, and without a shiny charm, like 600. So, technically, the best method. The problem, battling 500 of a single Pokemon. Now, you can do that in 2 ways. One, you can feint a Pokemon, or you can catch it. You cannot just run into it and run away. That doesn't count. There's the thing. I wanted to shiny hunt Corgi because he's adorable and I love him and he's been a staple throughout this entire series. He's also, right now, my Corgi, from the last episode, he's now level 93 thanks to a bunch of rare candies. So, and I just think that's the greatest thing in the universe. So, I decided I'll go shiny hunt him. But there is no way I'm going to be able to kill 500 Corgis. So, I improvised. Rather than murdering Corgis, I captured so far 216 Corgis. Now, I was gonna get the full amount. I was gonna get to 500 Corgis by this video. It didn't work. Let's just put this into perspective. Imagine if you could catch a Corgi every 30 seconds. That's basically, you find the Corgi, you get into battle with the Corgi, all the menu goes away, you catch the Corgi, and then you find another one, basically, and then you have to be at the next Corgi by the end of that 30 seconds to start the whole process over again. That would be like max efficiency. That doesn't happen. A battle doesn't just take 30 seconds, and it's not just a few seconds to find a corgi. It's another 30 seconds. So you're looking at about a corgi a minute, if you're lucky. That's 60 corgis per hour. I don't have, what would that be? That'd be over, I'm getting to it. I played Prodigy for years, I should know that. That would be over 8 hours of doing that. And trust me, I put in the time. I tried. But yeah, that left me with only 216 corgis and like only a few days before the release of the DLC. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't catch any more corgis off camera. I'm just going to have to film the video. So this may have to be a multi-part thing. There's one corgi now. This may very well have to be a multi-part thing. I may have to do like several videos of just straight catching corgis for hours on end and editing it down into whatever that could be. I honestly don't know, because that's basically just like 20, 30 an hour of straight of just me catching corgis. I don't know if that's interesting, so I am looking to other possibilities. First of all, I want to know if you guys will enjoy this. Hopefully that one person is satisfied. However, I would totally be open to looking into things like live streaming. Like I could, most shiny hunters live stream. They live stream for hours and they try to catch Pokemon. Usually they have 2 switches. They're doing 2 different things. They're running around with eggs on one switch, and they're, I don't know, just running into Pokemon over and over again on the other. That way, like, double efficiency or double progress or something. I can't afford 2 switches. I can barely afford to buy the DLC, which is why I'm seriously looking into your guys' input for this. So, but yes, I would be looking into, like, doing a live stream, just chatting with you guys and going around catching 1,000 corgis. Because this, mind you, I have to get to 500 corgis, and that's when the odds are at their best. And that doesn't mean I'll be lucky still. I mean, it could still take thousands upon thousands of more corgis to do this. And the only reason I ever thought, like, to agree to this was, like, it's funny. It's catching a ton of, like, one of my favorite Pokemon ever. And pretty much my favorite Pokemon in this game. So I was like, you know what, it's funny. Owning 1,000 corgis would be funny. So, you know what, let's just do it. However, as I infinitely go around catching these sweet, sweet dogs, let's talk about the process that it took me to finally get to, like, max-ish efficiency. Originally, I was trying to catch these guys at Route 2, which is the first route where you fight them. I later looked up on a wiki and discovered that they have extremely low chances of finding them there. Then I discovered that there are other places that you could catch the corgi, which for some reason I don't know why I didn't remember those. But there's a few other places where you could catch them, and they have better chances. This place has about a 20% chance for them to spawn, sort of. I mean, it's such a big area that really you're almost guaranteed to find a corgi at any given moment. I've still gotten unlucky and not done that, but so don't think it's foolproof. But grinding here does have a problem. The corgis are harder to catch. At the previous place, you could pretty much just throw a regular old Pokeball at them and be done. You could just, I mean, literally, that's all it took. All you had to do, just one Pokeball, throw it, done. Here, they're a bit stronger, and usually I've had to use pretty much just Ultra Balls to catch them. I tried regular Pokeballs, that didn't work. Great Balls or Variables, sometimes they work, sometimes work. Again, I'm not harming them, I'm trying to go for max efficiency as possible, or as speedy as possible. The problem is that Great Balls or Ultra Balls are expensive. They're very expensive. So there's just that one flaw in my plan. However, there's just one other thing that you can do to sort of, quote-unquote, increase your chances of finding, not a shiny, but a corgi. I've heard, and I don't exactly know if this is confirmed, but I heard that if you catch a bunch of, or if you battle a bunch of the same Pokemon in a row, more of those will start to show up. That was like a feature implemented in the game, probably to make shiny hunting easier, that way you could find them more easily. But the real problem is, when you're tired and you've caught like 200 corgis, you're not thinking straight. You'll look at one of those other things, those Electrites, whatever they are, or a Pikachu, and you'll just be like, yeah, that looks like a corgi. Cause, I mean, yeah, I've just been tired, and so constantly I'll break whatever streak I had of corgi finding, and then I have to work it up again, and then I get tired, and then I break it. So, yeah, overall, I'm literally the worst Pokemon shiny hunter in existence. But I do hope that some people watch this and think it's either funny or actually do enjoy it, because it is, I will say, as far as original content goes, it is pretty funny, and it will be a great title to orchestrate. I had to catch 500 corgis just to get one shiny. I just hope there isn't a limit to the amount of Pokemon you can carry, because if there is, well, this method's over, because my goodness, am I going to have a lot of Corgi-S's. Again, in a normal method, you wouldn't even catch 500 Pokemon. You just murder them, because that's much faster, and then you continue doing that as you went on. However, I didn't feel like killing over 500 Corgis, so I decided to catch them all. Kinda regret that. However, I do have something I could do with my Corgis once I am done, hopefully, with all of this. You see, in Pokemon, there's something called the Wonder Trade. It's just a Wonder Trade, but it sounds much more cool if you say that. And that's where you and some random person across the world, across the internet, both put up a Pokemon and you exchange it at the same time. There is no trading. You just do it. The Pokemon are exchanged and you get what you get. That's why it's called a Wonder, or, well, it might actually be called Mystery Trade now. I'll have to check. Let's see, where would I find that? Well, there's a Corgi here, so I'll look at it later. Yeah, Surprise Trade. So when I did it back, and I think I did it on the in Omega Ruby, I had a ton of fun. Like me, actually, it was funny because me, Peril, and Lion would all get together, and we do this. We do the Surprise Trade, Mystery Trade, whatever it's been called throughout the things. We do it, and it was just so much fun because you just go around catching whatever low level Pokemon you could, and then you just trade them, and you get the most random things, and sometimes they were actually good. They were like actually good Pokemon. Like I found sometimes people give me mystical Pokemon. Like I think I got a shiny mystical Pokemon for some random person on the internet. They did not get something good in return. I think it was just like a Zigzagoon or something. But like, yeah, it was, oh, those were the days. Staying up late, all of us with our 3DSs just like going ham on that Wonder Trade. It was, that was my childhood. Pokemon has been sparsely played throughout my childhood, and even up until now. Basically, I can't get away from it. I mean, I still find it some good fun. I mean, it's not as fun as it used to be. And what I really enjoyed about the games has sort of been lost. I always really liked the story, like what was going on, like the whole adventure story mostly. Going to different places and finding like all new Pokemon, but also new story, and like traveling all across the map. I found that really fun. And Pokemon Sword, first of all, the story, it's really mediocre. It's so mediocre that really I can barely even harp on it. It's just so non-present and so just like whatever that I just can't really do much with it. It's just not that. I really like the story, and also the map. I really like how everything looks cool. All the Pokemon look really cool. I'm so glad that Pokemon is now on HD rather than on the 3DS. But there's just it's just. At the same time, it's like, because they use a lot, the environments somewhat look the same. Because it's just this forest or these trees. Like, they definitely don't look as, like, sparsely as cool as some of, like, the older games did. Just a lot of the environments look somewhat the same. The adventure didn't feel as cool this time around. I still enjoyed the game. A good bit. But I just didn't get some of that same kick, like, from my original Pokemon games. Mind you, I was also much younger back then, and so I just look at it. I barely even know what was going on. So whenever like the smallest plot twist happened in the game, I was like, wow, this is the best story ever. I never would have thought of that. The guy who they were pointing at and showing you that was the villain What? I will say, the first Pokemon game I played was Black and White, and that actually had a good story. I really actually like the story in that. Like even today. So even like today, combating with like my quote-unquote good standards, I still like that story. So, I mean, yeah, it's not like a bad. I think, really, what Game Freak needs to do is they just need to take 2 years and put some good time into a Pokemon game. Put a lot of time into the characters, the story, everything. Make it a really long adventure, and they don't even need, like, maybe the entire dex. Like, everyone's like, we want the national dex. I don't really know if I need that, because, well, of course, this is coming from a YouTuber standpoint. I'm not gonna go around catching every single Pokemon. Do I want to see, like, all my favorite doofuses? Sure, I guess. But, like, I'm gonna have some favorites, and also, I really just want to just see some Pokemon, see some cool Pokemon, some well thought out Pokemon, and also some returning doofuses. I don't need the entire dex. I just need that. But I really want to see just a well-made game. Like, at this point, people have demoted, like, it's Pokemon. It's not gonna be great, but it's gonna be Pokemon. You run around, you catch doofuses, you have a great time. So it's just kind of gone to that. And I mean, I'm still going with it. I'm still buying pretty much the Pokemon games every year. So I guess it's quote unquote working, but it's just not. It's not what I'm looking for going forward. And yeah, I also as a YouTuber, I don't have the time to like go around and looking for every Pokemon. So when I like, I don't need an action blitz. I want them to put some time to the actual game. Like, sure, the Pokemon look cool and everything, but back in the day, the Pokemon didn't even like. Well, actually, no, I remember them looking pretty sweet, actually, like, even pixelated and all that. They had, like, some pretty good animations, like, back in black and white. I actually liked that. But there was a lot into the game, and the environments felt cool and unique and fun. Again, that was back in the day, so, like, that was one of actually the first games I ever played, period. So, like, I mean, I didn't have much to compare it to or anything, and going back, I probably wouldn't like it as much. I didn't actually, like, a few months ago, I went and looked at it. I had played, like, through the first part of the game, and then realized I hadn't actually started my save file correctly, and that I would lose all my progress that I had worked on, so, yeah, it sucked. But the long and short of it is, I really wish they would just take a long time to just make a good Pokemon game. Just make something that they're proud of, that everyone in the community would really like. I think that'd be cool. And they might be doing it. They might. Here's the thing. They're doing this DLC thing. I'm going back to the DLC. Again, do tell me whether you want me to play that or not. If you would enjoy seeing that mildly or not. If it would just be a little fun to see me go around and check out the new areas of the fair. But the DLC, the last part, the first part of the DLC comes out in 2 days as I'm recording this. However, the one after that, like, I think it's the Isle of Armor, and then they're gonna have, like, the Crown Tundra or whatever. That one comes out at the time that usually a Pokemon game comes out. It comes out in the fall, like around November or something. That's pretty much every November. That's when they put out their Pokemon game. Every year, they do that. That's not much time to work on a game, man. I mean, some people work on it for years. Of course, they do have, like, pretty substantial team, although I heard that, like, not even that much of Game Freak even works on Pokemon anymore, which is sad, but I don't blame them. I mean, they're basically making, like, the same game every year. Did I accidentally just run into a corgi? That's great. But, like, they're basically just making somewhat the same game every year. And sure, they get to play around with the elements, but it's the same kind of thing, and I think they just need to change up the rant. But after so many clone copies of itself, if they're actually, like, if they're going to take, like, now that I mean, they're working on the DLC, so it's not exactly like they're just taking 2 years straight off to make a new Pokemon game after this. But maybe if the DLC, I mean, I hope they do put some good effort into the DLC, but the DLC doesn't take all their effort, to work on another Pokemon game after that and put more time into it, make it really good. Honestly, if they just planned it out, I do know the reasons why Pokemon can't, like, usually does just have to put, like, stuff out on a yearly basis. Like, there's actually a video, I think it was by Mother's Basement, that like talked about why that was so. If you want to go check that out, go ahead. It actually explains a lot. It's basically because everything's scheduled on us. The Pokemon cards, the anime TV show, there's some manga for it, the plushies, the marketing, all that stuff, all the merch, that has to be made, that has to be planned and made in advance. So if the game ends up being delayed because they put more time on that, well then all of a sudden everything else is delayed. All these plushies they made now have to wait on sit on the shelves collecting dust before they can release to the market. And there's all that stuff. So really, they just need a plan. They need to just say, hey, how about instead of working ourselves to death, we just take a good solid year to make a good solid game. I really wish Game Freak and the Pokemon Company would do that. Maybe they're sort of doing that now. They're like using the DLC as like a little spacer to still publish Pokemon content out before like actually, you know, before really working at a new game. I also think it would be cool to like make some like do, I don't know, like something of a returnment game. Like if instead of you went back to one of the regions, but not like a remake of the original game, like you went on a whole new storyline. I'm gonna bring this. I've actually brought this up once before in videos, but I'm gonna talk about this. In Sun and Moon, in the first one, in just the original Sun and Moon. I don't know about Ultra Sun and Moon. I never finished them fully, but in Ultra Sun and in Sun and Moon, one of the main characters, this character named Lily. And she was like, you know, a growing character throughout the series, had some important parts in the story and whatnot. I don't know. I literally forgot everything. But at the end of that, it was sort of sad because she went away at the end of that game. She went to the Kanto region to help study because I think through the plot of the game, I am going to spoil some stuff. So, I mean, it's a Pokemon plot, so you're not exactly missing the most. But basically, throughout the course of the game, the character Lily's mom, I don't know, got infected with jellyfish and was like in a coma or something. And so she actually went, and she went to the Kanto region to try and study how to like fix it. And so that'd be cool if you went back to the Kanto region. I know they just made a Kanto region, the Pokemon games before this. Let's Go, Pokemon, the other ones, I don't know what they're called again. But yeah, like they actually just made one of those. But if they went back to one of those regions and you met some old characters, you met some of the old characters from the old games. But for everyone who knows that game and goes back to that returning character, they'd think it was fascinating. Like, oh my gosh, it's Doofus from Generation or this game. They're here. I mean, it doesn't even need to be in the region. They just come there. I think it'd be cool if like over time a bunch of the characters pooled up from the old games, like all the important characters. Like I remember back in the day when there was the original like Fire was it Red and Blue? Yeah, it's just Red and Blue. Back in the day, those were like the two original Pokemon games. But like Blue or Red or whoever from the original game, when you went and you played the next game, Pokemon Heart and Gold. Yeah, I know these things. I'm a big enough Pokemon fan. You found them. You found them at the top of a mountain, and you fought them. And I think that was just a really cool moment. You were like, oh, this is past me. Or like, they were just like at the top of the challenge mountain. Because in that game, I think you actually did. You went back to the Kanto region. And that was cool. That's a really cool idea. So if you pull up all these characters from past games, and then put them all in like a cool story together, I don't know. I would eat that up because, yeah, again, I'm big on story and all that, but I just think that'd be so cool to have all these returning characters just all mixed in this one controlling storyline. You know what? I'm gonna be here for a while just catching corgis, so I might as well talk more. This video might be long because I'm gonna put a lot of my ideas into it, but one thing I think would be really cool is, first of all, just maybe different storylines. I'm going to reference a different game that has nothing to do with Pokemon here. Resident Evil 2. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's part of the Resident Evil genre. I don't know if anyone ever has heard of it. It's definitely not a kid's game, and I haven't even played it, but I have watched some YouTubers play it. But the fun thing about it is that in both the original and sort of the remake, they had it so that you either played as one of two characters. You played as Claire or you played as Leon. And each of them had two different storylines. They had Claire A and Claire B and Leon A and Leon B, and each of those had different events. Now, mostly, they were sort of the same game, but there were some different things, like some extra boss fights. You went this way instead of that way. Different events happened, and you could only, there was also some stuff where, like, you could only do Leon B after beating Claire A or whatever. I don't know. It was kind of weird and strange, but overall, I really like that idea. I think that'd be cool if, at the beginning of a Pokemon game, you pick whose storyline to follow. Like, you pick either Doofus A or Doofus B. I'm going to just refer to them as that from now on, because I don't know, I just like that idea. But, yeah, like, you'd play as either of them, and they would do different storylines. They'd start in a different place, and they go in different ways. And I just think that'd be so cool. You still get to customize your character. Or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you actually just go and follow those characters. But I'm mostly referencing this because of the Pokemon manga. I've also talked about the Pokemon manga in my previous videos. But I really liked it because it took like these characters and these people and the Pokemon from the battles and made the fights thousands of times more interesting. I mean, it's just a turn-based game. They introduced so many different things. Like sometimes, I mean, they like the Pokemon would use their environment to their advantage. They would do all this random stuff. Moves would be used to their advantage. Oh, that was an Eevee, not a whatchamacallit. But, oh, you know what? I'm gonna catch that just because I love Eevee. But like they would do all this. Yeah, they would do all this interesting stuff with the battles. And there were stakes, there was story. The different characters had different ideals and characters and stuff, and it took conflicting and like all these conflicting ideals and battled them. And it was so much fun. And there was actual tragedy. There was like battles, like sometimes the Pokemon would attack the trainers. Like the trainers were putting their lives on the line. Like I remember in the last volume of the Pokemon Black and White manga. Like, the guy, whoever he was literally, like, in a fire. He was, like, in a straight-up, like, fire. The Pokemon had spread fire on him, and he had to figure out how to, like, get rid of that. Otherwise, well, he was gonna be on fire. I mean, he wasn't, like, actually burning. Like, the fire was just sort of around him, and he couldn't breathe that well or something, so it wasn't... I mean, it could be more intense if he was actually on fire. But, like, it was insane, and I want to do, like, a storyline like that, where, like, you do all, like, you just go, it follows the storyline, like, you still get the freedom to catch Pokemon, but you're taking it into different segments. It is kind of conflicting, because these days, what people are looking for is they're fine with just the general adventure, just you go around and you catch Pokemon. They're looking to catch the Pokemon. They're just looking to have a fun time with Pokemon. They're not looking for the story. And so if you do follow a cryptic storyline, then you walk the people into certain areas. So, like, they have to be in this area and get out of it before they can do anything else. And that means they can't go and catch their favorite Pokemon, whatever. They can't do anything else. They can't just do what they want. Which is, is technically a problem. It's much different than what I think is most of the Pokemon community is there for. Because, again, all I want in a Pokemon game is some good story. While everyone else is just like, I just want to catch a dog. I just want to catch a dog and, like, go on this whole adventure. They're not looking for a super structured thing. They're not looking for much. It's Pokemon to them. It's just Pokemon. It's like, whatever. But, I really think it'd be cool if, like, even if you were locked away from every area in the game, like, you got captured or something, sent to a facility, and you had to break it out. I should go back to that, like, 2 storylines thing. I just think it'd be cool, like, more interesting, more ways to play a Pokemon game. Like, you get more bang for your buck, or, yeah, bang for your buck, I guess. You just get to do more, because there's now 2 storylines in one Pokemon game. You can follow this doofus or this doofus, and I don't know, you just get to do different things with the story and see different points. It'd also be cool to see what those characters do. Like, if you're picking to play either is this character or is this character, mind you could still customize them and name them, but you'd just be following one storyline or another. It'd still be cool to see what the other doofus was doing while you were off doing your doofus stuff. So you get to, like, I don't know, depending on whose storyline you picked, the other person would also be doing things. And I feel like the Pokemon could work that into their marketing thing too, because they always release 2 games, and really, it's not worth it to release 2 games. Like, one, you get this legendary Pokemon and, like, a few extra Pokemon that you don't get in the other game. In the other game, you get the opposite of that. And there's not much different between the games. You're basically playing the same story, but the legendary Pokemon are switched. I mean, if I bought Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, I'd be playing the same game. Like, literally all that would be switched. Zacian would be there instead of, or Zamazenta would be there instead of Zacian. I feel like they could actually work into that. Like, why I mentioned Resident Evil in specific is because it had those 2 different storylines. So you have Claire A, you'd have Claire A and Leon B. So I think it would be cool if they took those 2 storylines. So on one game, you'd have Claire A on Leon B. On the other game, you'd have Leon... I'm losing it. You have Leon A and Claire B. So it just changed it up. That way it felt more worth it. Of course, that does lock off content for you. Now you feel like you may be obligated to play the other game, where you really just want your own Pokemon experience. Honestly, I would just put more focus into one solid game instead of, like, 2 different ones where, like, literally nothing's different. And if you're gonna make the 2 games, make some changes. they should feel like you're about. These are $60 games. These are expensive games. Like some really fully fledged out games that are bigger than Pokemon or like any game on the Switch cost like $20 on like the PC or like any different console. Nintendo has a thing of just making all of their games $60 immediately. I mean, some of them aren't, but then they have significantly less content. Yeah, it's just for $60, you need to make sure the game's good, and especially if you're going to make two different games, they should be different. They should be different experiences that should make each of those $60 worth it. Okay, if I'm not wrong, we're nearing like the 300th corgi, so I'm just gonna catch this last one and then probably be done. I do want to find the shiny. I might continue this, but like for now, it's like I still have to edit this, and like I just don't have enough time for this. I'm honestly scared that if anyone ever comes across this video, if I ever try to get like hired somewhere, they're gonna pull up this video and be like, I don't know about that. 302. 302 corgis. That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh, this is madness. Oh my. Oh. It's so many. Oh, I on one hand, I feel a bit crazy looking at this, and on the other hand, I have no regrets. This was actually a good bit of fun. So, if you do want to ever see any more like shiny hunting in the future, tell me. I will live stream it. I could just do another episode like this. I don't know, but if you enjoyed this, so did I. So I don't know. You asked for it. You're gonna get it. Also, do tell me. Also, do tell me. I know I've brought it up a lot, but if you want to see the DLC, please do tell me, because I'm seriously debating it. It's more money that I have to throw at Nintendo. At the same time, it could be really fun. If you guys want to see it, I'm totally down. So, that's all I have to say, though. Without further ado, thank you guys for watching me catch 300 corgis. If you want to see more of that, do subscribe, do like, comment, share. If you liked the video, I guess do the same things. And I'll see you guys all next 300 corgis, probably. Squid Cat out. All I see is corgis.